Welcome to another episode of the Bong Hit Diaries. Today, I'm on the Queen Bee's property, and we're going to do one from here. I just broke in a new pipe, and I'm just going to walk through the fields. This is Oceano Dunes, and right now there is a big struggle over the new. People really want to understand how we can really use the dunes and not destroy it at the same time. And I'm down with that. I'm really down with that. We have an issue with the snowy plovers, which if you go back to the history of it, it was the Park Service themselves that got in trouble by the Coastal Commission for moving the nest and crushing eggs. Okay, because they wanted to move the nest because they wanted to move them out of the way of the riding area, which they're not allowed to do. They're supposed to move the riding area to coincide with the nesting season. Well, the Park Service didn't do that, so that's why the Oceano Dunes riding area was shut down. I want to reiterate that. It wasn't because of the dust issue. Now, the dust issue is a total separate issue. There's a separate battle going on by people that want to ride ATVs and drive their vehicles on the beach. The "and" part is what I think most people are not focusing on, is probably will be the most successful victory to allow vehicles on the beach, because the "and" part covers people with disabilities. Now, I don't think the Park Service nor people fighting against vehicles on the beach really thought this through. I am in favor of continuing to allow people to not only drive on the beach, cautiously of course, but also camp out over the beach, on the beach with their families. I don't want to stop that. I think this is a tradition in Oceano Dunes that we can continue this tradition, and there will be minimal impact on the coastal region, actually less. So I want to continue that, because the reason why I say less impact, because over the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to transition over to electric cars, and nobody ever talks about this emerging technology that's going to arrive within 10 years. Half the vehicles on the dunes, I would estimate, are going to be electric. And let's just say they want to continue using ATVs. Well, half of those will probably be electric by then too. So we're talking about the hydrocarbons that come out of the pipe. That's going to be reduced almost in half. Okay? So the only other consideration is the fires that they have out there, the campfires, which I don't think is an issue. It's at nighttime. Most people are not outside at nighttime, so they're not getting a good dosage of any type of smoke coming from campfires. So I don't think it's a problem. I think we should continue the camping out here. Now, the linchpin of this is the disabled part, because see, the dune riders, they have a specific reason. They also want to have disabled people come out here, but that's not their main focus. Their main focus is to continue riding ATVs out here. My main focus is to continue to allow people to bring their vehicles on the beach. Why? Because there's many elderly people, not only from Oceano, they moved here so they can get on that beach because they can drive their car on the beach. They can't do that anywhere else. This should be a valued privilege that we continue. Because a lot of people have, let's say they have colostomy bags. They want to go to the beach with dignity and respect by themselves. They want self-independence. They don't want to have to make a reservation for a wheelchair that they can't push. Okay? This is ridiculous. And a lot of them don't want to be exposed to the elements, because a lot of people have arthritis. So they want to go on the beach and sit in their vehicle and maybe turn on the heater. So I don't think the Park Service has really done a good job of thinking through how they're going to accommodate disabled people now, because remember, this is already a privilege that disabled people have right now. If they take away that privilege, if somebody files a lawsuit, the Park Service is going to be in big trouble. And why am I saying this now? I'm saying this now because there is a new group here in Oceano that has taken the consideration of everybody in our community, and they're open-minded, and they want to introduce, one lady said she wants to introduce a Native American sweat lodge somewhere on the beach. I think that's wonderful. I was talking about an area for prayer and meditation where people aren't flying, those quadcopters and spying on you and all this other stuff. There's an airport right over here, people. You're not allowed to fly quadcopters on that beach. So everybody's talking about the usage, but nobody's talking about the actual access. The access should be for everyone. And if you cut out disabled people, well, that is going to be the linchpin right there. The dune riders have an issue, okay? They're fighting the issue with the dust, and I believe they're correct because I'm an actual meteorologist. I'm actually a world-renowned scientist. I've used the equipment to do this. All they need is to get a LiDAR system, get a grant, and actually do a scan. A really solid scan would be a 3-season scan, and most people are not capable of doing that in this county. Nobody on the air quality board is, that's for certain, including that so-called scientist they hired, that academic from Canada that set up the test. That test was set up to fail. They used 1950s technology, 70-year-old technology to do a study. I was shocked. And then when there is people disputing the study, usually when it's a government study, almost always the government says, where is the third party to give us another opinion, to basically confirm what everybody's arguing about. That never happened. And why didn't it happen? Because the people on the board were duped into believing they had a licensed engineer, which they didn't. They never had a licensed engineer on the board. They thought this academic knew what he was talking about. They found out later when everybody protested the testing that he didn't know what he was doing. And I'm a professional. I could say this. I looked at the test and I just glanced at it and I said, oh my goodness, this is just a dumpster fire waiting to happen, because there was very little controls on the test. I've done these tests before, so I don't want to get into details, but I do want everybody to know that there is a new group in Oceano that are focusing on the access part of the beach for disabled people and elderly people, especially veterans. Now, one of the ladies I spoke to, both of these women are just sweet. Her name is Gina, and her father is a Vietnam veteran. What she told me, what he went through, he's fighting a lot of health issues, and he's just a hero, man. And then this other woman, she is just so terrific, Jennifer. These women are fantastic. They're spending their own time, money, and effort to maintain access for disabled people and elderly people that want to access our beach, that have been accessing it for a year with indignity by themselves, maintaining self-independence or with their loved ones, and camping on the beach with their loved ones. Look at this. Oh my goodness. So beautiful this time of year. All the birds are out. Wow. So it's just so beautiful out here. Look at this. So we want to maintain this tradition of Oceano, of families camping on the beach, maybe have some religious revivals, who knows, but we want a peaceful environment like this. And I'm not saying ATVs shouldn't be on the beach. And just think, if they do transition over to electric, there'll be no sound. It'll probably be more dangerous. They'll probably have to add the sound just so people are aware of where everybody's at. But I'm just saying, people never take these things in consideration. The emerging technology, the fact that people need to access the beach, that is the linchpin to keeping beach access for cars, period. And if you can keep the beach access for cars, I don't see why they would get rid of the camping, the overnight camping. A lot of families come out here and they have a lot of equipment, surfing equipment, all this stuff. You can't stop them from coming on the beach, and there's no place to unload it. And furthermore, this is a huge issue here. This is the biggest problem. People didn't think where all these people traditionally come annually to camp for 20 bucks a night instead of paying $300 to $500 a night for a dinky hotel room. They didn't realize that this was the biggest hotel in the South County, Oceano Beach, the dunes. It was the biggest hotel. So what would happen is people would park their cars on the beach, they would camp out, and all the Uber drivers would go and run to the local restaurants and bring them their food up to Pier Avenue, and they wouldn't leave their car. They'd leave their cars parked on the beach. They wouldn't have to bring cars here, and that cut down on the traffic and the parking issues. Well, when they shut down the beach, holy moly! The residents from Oceano over here couldn't, along Pier Avenue, they couldn't even get into their homes. People parked in front of their houses, their driveways. It was a nightmare. And families were having problems unloading. And guess what? Guess where the disabled people went? To the parking lot. The disabled people that couldn't get out of their car, they didn't even bother coming to the beach. Even residents that live here, that drive on the beach, they didn't even bother going to the beach. They're so depressed. And people got to realize people go out there, especially elderly people and people with disability, for health and wellness. And to take that away from somebody is just criminal. Right, Daisy? I hope you guys learned something from this video. Go infantry or go home.